Hi guys, I'm Megan, the Fangirl, and today I'm going to talk about an awesome anime, Madoka Magica, that kind of openly mocks the magical girl genre. It has been years since Madoka Magica ended, but people are still obsessed with this show. So let's talk about how this franchise revolutionized the magical girl genre by poking fun at its predecessors. Okay, first things first, if you don't know what a magical girl is, it's a genre, usually an anime series, where it's all girl power, and these young ladies have different powers endowed upon them by, you guessed it, magic! A few of the more popular examples would be Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Ruby, and even Netflix's She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. But Madoka Magica is very unique in that we're initially served up this very cutesy magical girl trope, only to end up being served a horror anime by the end of the series. I mean, if you want to watch some young girls try to demolish each other with different weapons, then Madoka Magica has some of the best fight scenes in animation. And what is really interesting about Madoka Magica is how much it can fit into this very short and sweet format. I mean, there's only 9 chapters over 2 manga volumes. It is not a big series. And the anime and movies are also pretty concise. There's no filler episodes. To the contrary, though, most of Madoka's predecessors tended to have series that drug on for ages, offering very little, if any, progress, in the plot at least, between each episode. And as you probably can guess, Sailor Moon is a great example here. It goes on for 200 episodes, almost all of which are very formulaic. I mean, here's Sailor Moon in a nutshell. There's a big baddie who shows up in town and they're gonna tamper with or destroy something. But first, the big baddie has to send out all of its little cronies to scope the area or clear the path, whatever. And in turn, each one of those cronies seem to have their own endless supply of minions to control. And so each crony takes an individual turn and sends one individual minion out to mess things up or fight the Sailor Scouts, and the Sailor Scouts will fight back in each episode and destroy one of the minions until the crony runs out of minions and they destroy that crony. Then crony number 2 steps up to bat and they throw out minions one at a time. It's like, just attack them all at once, overwhelm them, then they're going to die. If that suits your goal, then do that. Why do they all have their own egos that are fighting to see, well, I'm better than you, Birdie. No, Ketsy, that is not the way. I mean, for one season, sure, but after that, how does nobody else in the universe learn how to fight better? Or at least fight to win? But after each crony is depleted of minions and they are destroyed, eventually the Sailor Scouts work themselves up to the final boss, and typically Sailor Moon will sacrifice herself to save the day, but not really, because she always comes back. Then, as if none of it mattered and all of the big baddies are all just waiting in line to take their own turn at bat, a new season emerges with a brand new villain who has their brand new cronies who all in turn have their own brand new minions. Don't get me wrong, I love Sailor Moon, I love the imagery, I love the culture of it and being in that zeitgeist, but most of these episodes are boring AF. And being that Sailor Moon is contributed as being the first ever magical girl series, we do see Madoka pay her some tribute. In the opening credits of Madoka Magica, we have these little references to the original Sailor Scouts, and they're almost snuck in there, but if you've seen the shows, you recognize it. However, once you get into the actual Madoka show, there is a much different vibe to it. The thing with Madoka Magica is that we have these middle school age girls who basically sell their soul in order to get a wish, and part of that deal is that they have to become magical girls and fight witches. And so the tedium of fighting these lower level witches is really counterplayed by the fact that they need what the witch will drop, the grief seed, I think, to purify their own soul gem so that they can live for a longer period of time. Because if their gem gets too dirty, then they corrupt and basically turn into witches, although they don't quite know that in the beginning. And really, Madoka Magica is designed to act like another Sailor Moon spoof, where the episodes just get beat your head against the wall repetitive after a while. Because in every episode, you can expect to see a witch, and then the girls defeat that witch, no matter what the cost, and move forward with their mission. And that's basically what they do until episode 3. I was not prepared to see one of the main characters get their head bitten off. And in my house, my daughter and I, who was like 7 at the time, we put on Madoka Magica because Sailor Moon wasn't available, and I thought that this was just a spoof series that would be similar, kind of like Tokyo Mew Mew. It was not. Mama messed up, guys. But still, after Mommy got her head bitten off, I mean, come on, the Sailor Scouts die like 1,000 times in the series, and they're always resurrected, so Mommy's death is not going to be permanent either, right? Come on. Well, it is. At least, it is until the timeline recycles again, and then we find out that the character Homura keeps resetting the timeline over and over and over, trying to fix the world to make a scenario where Madoka, yes, Madoka, the top build character of the series, doesn't die from a witch attack. And even that really convoluted plotline still feels like sort of an homage to the redundancy of Sailor Moon. Except Madoka has a really beautiful, interesting twist. Instead of an alien cat creature searching for her missing princess, like Luna, we get Kyubey, who we're trained to trust because he's so cute and cuddly looking. But really, he has nefarious intentions. And once the timeline starts being reset in the Madoka universe, we do see the same things happening over and over and over again, but it's not the normal type of repetitive or lazy writing style. It's woven into the fabric of the story so that the more things are repeated, the more we start to understand. This also allows us to see the characters dramatically change or react differently to different events and information. You know, Sailor Moon, as much as I love her, she never loses faith. She never breaks character. So she's pretty one-dimensional in that sense because she already knows what she's going to do every time. The right thing is just sticking out like a nail that needs hammered down. But in Madoka Magica, we have arcs like Homura's, who goes from a sweet, nervous girl in braids to a majorly hardened butt kicker because, yeah, seeing your best friend die right in front of you 1,000 times is really bad for your mental health. Who'd have thunk it? Or another example, over one of the timeline do-overs, Mommy learns the truth, that magical girls eventually will fall into despair and turn into witches. So Mommy, out of nowhere, just starts slaughtering everybody so that they can avoid that fate. So we get to see that fear really take hold of Mommy and make her act in a completely unexpected way. So with Madoka Magica, the same old is really not. It's different every time because even little changes affect the timeline or can completely change somebody's personality, which means that Madoka Magica is simultaneously staying in the magical girl parameters while also breaking down the walls at the same time. It's really challenging the magical girl fandom by saying we can be cutesy and edgy and interesting for children over the age of 10. So I'll leave you by saying this again. This anime series is fantastic, and I highly encourage you to watch it, or even the movies. The first 2 cover most of what's in the anime series, and see it as soon as you can. Even rewatch it again because it's still that good. There is no filler in that franchise. It is all concentrated plot, and it is oh so good. I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Derpy time. Okay, so anybody who thinks I might sing the intro song to Madoka, I hate to disappoint you, but I cannot keep up with that level of Japanese speaking. Sorry, I try my best, but I'm just not that good. But the video essay's over. We're just having a little bit of vlog at the end of here for anybody who wandered in and are like, what is going on now? Why is she just talking to the camera like this? I'm not your friend. Well, you should be, because I love you. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know when this video will air because I tend to batch record a ton of them and then release them as needed as I get around to editing them, let's be honest. But I have recently made some posts in my community tab. I'll just kind of go over those a little bit for those of you who may have totally overlooked that. A couple of weeks ago in May, I don't know what month this is coming out again, but back in May of 2021, just in case I don't get this out in this year, I posted this really long ranty message about sort of my fangirl on YouTube journey and how it turned to crud after the first few years. And I've been talking to different channels that have been more successful than me. The Theorizer actually gave me some really good sound tips and advice. And I had some meetings with people at vidIQ that were absolutely, hopefully things that are going to help save this channel. Jeffrey, is it Mendez or Menendez? Dyslexic person, can't remember. But there's a person that you can schedule with if you are a vidIQ member, and his name is Jeffrey, and he is phenomenal. Go give him all the love you have. But he was going through my analytics kind of page by page-ish. You know, that's not exactly how that works on the creator side, but he was combing through different analytics stuff with me, and he thinks he found the problem that has been basically killing my channel. Of course, one part of the problem, at least that I truly believe is part of the problem, has been that YouTube has changed policies over the, I'll just call them the anon people, so that way I don't get flagged as one of them. And when they changed policies and they said, oh, well, we're not going to recommend crazy conspiracy theories anymore, I think that lumped in my video essay content with all of them. And, you know, I had huge plummets in all my statistics at the same time. And when Jeffrey from vidIQ was looking through my analytics, he even went, man, 40% of your views are from searches, which is really bizarre for a channel as established as yours. And I'm like, I know, right? They won't recommend me because of all these anon rules. And that's the frustrating thing. I know this is rambly and ranty again, and it's not well thought out because this is why I script things. But yeah, I don't do anything on that alphabet person. I don't do anything on real life content whatsoever, but somehow I think from using the same kind of tags and buzzwords of theory, conspiracy theory, dark secrets, that it got me lumped in with that kind of policy. But the other part of that is that my click-through rate is abnormally low, which is frustrating, and it's something I don't know exactly how to fix. Because what I was told is that I need to be shooting for about a 5% click-through rate. But what I tend to be getting is somewhere in the 3%. So when YouTube is actually recommending your stuff, it's like a popularity contest. And if people aren't clicking on you enough, then YouTube decides to just drop it out of the algorithm because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not getting people engaged and interested. And he was also explaining to me that YouTube, they do care about watch time. They do care about, you know, the amount of viewers you bring in. But what also matters is if that person was compelled to like or leave a comment. Because if somebody is willing to stop what they're doing and engage with the post, not just passively watch it, that apparently has kind of like reward points that they will push that video forward more too. So, like I was explaining in a post after the I'm so frustrated I could quit YouTube post, is that it would be really, really helpful for me to survive if you guys just kind of clicked anytime you saw me in your recommendation. And even if you're not ready to watch that video, let's say, oh, I haven't finished that show, or, you know, I'm in the middle of class right now, I can't watch it. If you just click it when you see it and add it to your watch later playlist, that will supposedly really help me out. And I will also ask you guys, if you are interested, please follow me on Twitter. That is twitter.com/the_fanily, like family with an N instead of an M, because I think I'm going to take a page from the Theorizer's book and sort of ask people more, like, what works about this thumbnail? What do you not like? How would you fix it? How would you change it? And try to get some feedback to make even some of my older videos, get better traction than they have now. And we'll see if that works. The other part I'm trying is something that the Theorizer recommended. He will not tell anybody his real name. I'm just going to end up like giving him one someday. How about Brandon? Let's call him Brandon from now on. And if we're wrong, he can correct us, right? But it feels weird to have this person that I've spoken with quite a few times over quite a few years at this point, and I don't even know his name. So Brandon, the Theorizer, he mentioned working on audience building without making everything completely focused on that particular audience. So I'm gonna go back to something I've tried before that helped a little bit, but not really. But I'm gonna try it a little bit more expansively and see if that helps. Which is, I'm gonna do one video on Disney, then one video on kind of anything, whatever. And there might be some exceptions to that rule where, okay, well, this show just ended, so I have to talk about it, even though this is supposed to be a Disney week. Like Castlevania. I was not expecting that to be the series finale, so that video was a bit of a surprise for me to make at the last minute. But the Castlevania video is also a good point. If you can't tell, this is the week that video came out. So whatever point in time that you are seeing this, hi from the past. But my Castlevania video, I was not on screen. I did it slideshow style. And since about 2018, I have been making a lot of effort to make all the images move if they're on the screen for more than 2 seconds. I really didn't do that in that video. I did it a few times, but I didn't make myself crazy about it. I just focused on getting the video done as quickly as I could. So I think I'm going to work on doing more slideshow style again. I know that there's some people who love it and they hate seeing my face, and there's some people who love seeing my face and don't care as much for the slideshow. So I'm gonna try to balance it out about 50-50, but again, there might be some weeks where it's back-to-back in person or back-to-back slideshow, but we'll just see how that works out, and if there is any kind of difference in the amount of viewership I get in either style, because that's another thing that Jeffrey from vidIQ was pointing out, that it may not make the best sense for me to always be in front of the camera. And I do agree with that. If you see my channel, The Family, and how I unbox things, I'm not one of those people who sits in the chair like this and then holds things up, from a distance. I have an unboxing table that is pretty much all white over there, and we try to get up close and really look at things. So the product is the star, not me. And on this channel, when I shifted to being on camera in mid-2019, it kind of took away from the movie or show being the star and put me in the middle of it as the host. And I don't hate it because, it's nice to put a face with a voice, right? And some people have really responded to it. Others haven't, but again, that's a different issue. But at the same time, I also get that when I'm doing a video essay, even though I wrote that essay, I don't necessarily need to be the star. And yeah, there's some times where it can't be avoided because I only have a very old VHS copy of something, so I'm not going to get screenshots. Or in the case of a Studio Ghibli movie, they are very hard about copyright strikes. So the less movie visuals I can show on those kind of things, the better. But yeah, it's kind of like we're going to play around and see what fits, and I hope you guys will stick around and contribute with feedback and really help me try to pull this channel out of the death ditch and put it back on a road to at least, decent success. Like I said in my ranty post, in a 2-year time frame, I got 100,000 subscribers, and in the 3 years since then, I haven't even gotten 50,000. So something's wrong, something's broken, and I haven't been able to fix it, but I hope the click-through rate and the audience building stuff is gonna make a decent to significant difference, but we'll find out together. Okay, I'm done rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Go watch Madoka Magica because it's really fun, and we will see you next time, family members. Bye! Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self. And I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, "Hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people." So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, "Hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye."